How's it going, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Clue Time. I hope you guys are all doing good this Wednesday. I'm feeling just sort of okay. I'm a bit here, a bit there. You know how it is. But I'm really enjoying my new flannel shirt that I bought from Primark this week. Very graciously with my Christmas gift voucher. So thanks a lot to the grandparents for that one. And the most comfortable pair of jeans I can safely say I think I've ever worn. Like I've worn like a lot of various different types, like loose ones. I've got ripped jeans at the moment, and very slim fit chinos. But these are quite possibly sort of like the perfect blend between tight fit and loose fit. These are very very comfortable. So yeah, um, but yeah, I tell you what, I love a good new wardrobe. Don't know about you guys, but if you ever feel like a wardrobe change, it can be some of the best therapy ever. Because if you feel sometimes I feel like your old clothes can get you down a little bit, if you stay wearing them for too long. So yeah, but I'm absolutely loving this. Like I feel like hot brown is coming back. So yeah, it's brilliant. Um, but yes, what an absolutely wild week we have had. Because with Masked Singer this week, we were back to Group A, and the competition really ramped up. Like I have to say, out of both the groups, I feel like A is ever so slightly more competitive. We've got some very very good vocalists. Obviously, sadly, Cat and Mouse went out this week, and they were my favourites. So yeah, I'm very very gutted to see them go. Um, but yeah, as I said, Group B seems to have a few more slightly wackier characters. Still some very good vocalists, but yeah, the characters seem a little bit more out there, shall we say? But yes, also on that front, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing for episode 4 this week. Because I am going to Birmingham on Saturday for the Strictly Live tour, and I will be staying the night in a Premier Inn. So I have absolutely no idea whether I will be able to actually record any episode at all, because my friends suggested that we watch it together in the hotel, and I don't really want to fake a reaction, because obviously you guys are going to know if I'm doing that, considering how over the top I go when I'm just doing the general videos. But yeah, it's so yeah, it's a fine line, but I'll see what they say, and yeah, I'll get back to you guys on that one. So yes, let's get into episode 3 and delve through all the clues that we can find. And boy, did we have some developments this week. So first up, we had Jellyfish. Now for me, this is the easiest one, partially because I've already seen her perform on the US, but I'll go through the clues anyway. So first clue that we got for Jellyfish was a group of jellyfish is called a smack. Now, this could either be a reference to all the smack talk that some of the characters usually throw out at each other on Glee, or it could be referring to the time when Mercedes Johnson's boyfriend smacked her on the butt. That is an out there clue. I know that is a very Davina McCall thing to say, but that's what I'm going with. I have absolutely no idea, but I've literally just got to roll with what I found. Now, having a group or support network around you, like a group, obviously another Glee reference, because obviously it's such a tight support group between a lot of the characters on there. This one stumped me a little bit. Good magic. Now, I had a little look, and Amber Riley has actually been cast as one of the witches in The Wiz live on stage. So that's where that clue ties in. And then there were two clues that both tied in to her performing ego. So Mononymous was her clue or false clue, which I think is the true one. And that obviously lends to her having one name, which of course she performs under her last name, Riley. An alter ego, Riley's supposed to be a little bit more sort of sexy and flirtatious, which Amber isn't normally, I would presume, because I don't really watch Glee. Or, like, I've never really seen that much of her outside of this. But yeah, I think that I think she's an absolutely fantastic artist. She's got such a powerful voice, and you can't fake the kind of voice that knows how to get to the grit on the right notes. And I remember when she did her performance of Born to Be Wild, when she was up against Montel Jordan in Masked Singer America. Oh my god, did she nail it? Like, that was just such a fantastic sing off. So yeah, and there was one more that I was going to go through. Oh yes, one that I didn't write down. Jonathan mentioned there was lots of racing references, and I can't remember if that was in the first clue package or whether there was. I didn't see any visual clues to that in this package, so I think there might have been one that I missed last week. But I don't think, because he mentioned it could be about cars and that, and I said in the video when he mentioned about car references, oh, obviously that's a reference to Mercedes Johnson, duh. But yeah, I think that could be a reference to her appearing on Drag Race. So yeah, I think that's where that reference comes from. So yeah, again, so many clues lending themselves to Amber Riley, and I'm not getting off that train anytime soon. Cat and mouse. Now these were some quite tricky clues because I feel like sometimes their clues could be a bit few and far between, and also this is the crazy thing about the duos. If one of them has a clue, you don't know if it's about them or about their other half. So you just don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I had a little look back through afterwards to see which ones I'd missed. Very happy that I got Martin and Shirley right. Very happy about that. The 9 clue. Now I had a little look and I had a feeling. I thought, oh, maybe that's a reference to how many number ones or how many gold or platinum records Spandau Ballet have had, and I was right. Spandau Ballet have 9 gold records. Don't know whether that was correct or not, but that's where I went. And, you know, I'm questioning whether a lot of the clues that I go with are correct, because I thought that the 20 million clue was a reference to how much Spandau Ballet grossed from their reunion tour in 2014, but no, it was actually a reference to how many viewers were watching the EastEnders episode where the Mitchell brothers had their famous fight when Martin was still on the programme, which I actually had forgotten about. I had completely forgotten that he was in EastEnders. The garlic clue was a clue to Embrace of the Vampire, which Martin starred in. The judge clue, he was a judge on a talent show called Let It Shine. Light, he talked about Mouse stepping into the light even though she didn't intend to. That was most likely a reference to Shirley starting out as a backing singer with Wham before she went on to form her duo with Pepsi. And then of course there was that very, very subtle clue that I don't think anybody would have got if Shirley hadn't mentioned it, about her book that she did with Pepsi recently called All in Black and White, and obviously Mouse is wearing a jail suit. So yeah. But yeah, I love these two to bits, and I really hope everybody saw Roman's reaction afterwards, because it was hilarious, utterly hilarious. Now, the first one where I am extremely split, and that is Phoenix. First of all, very unexpected song choice for him this week. I wasn't too sure whether I liked it or not, but I grew to love it as it went on. I think it's just because Loco in Acapulco isn't one of my sort of #1 go-to tracks, but he did a good job of it. Now, I'm really stuck because the clues at first to me said John Barrowman, but the voice didn't, because it didn't sound breathy enough. Like, John Barrowman has got a very, very recognisable vibrato to his voice and a very, very breathy way of expressing his voice. And I didn't get that in his first performance, and I thought, oh, maybe he's just changing it up. Then the second one, I thought, nah, that doesn't sound like John. And the more I went through the second clue package, the less I was able to figure out to sort of, the less I was able to link to him aside from the time travel clue in Clue or False. But I'm sort of ignoring some of the Clue or False clues for some of them because I didn't really get them for some people. So yeah, and plus which I don't know whether the audience assumptions of which one was right and which one was wrong was actually correct. I'm hoping it was, because if it was, and very good job to the studio audience. But I had a little chat again to my friend on Instagram and the guys in our group chat, and he mentioned Ricky Wilson from the Kaiser Chiefs. Now, despite the fact that I'm a Kaiser Chiefs fan, I don't actually know that much about the members or what they get up to. unlike certain other bands. So I had a little look through some of the clues. Now this one really got me, because at the beginning of the clue package, when they were like focusing on Phoenix in the mansion, there was like flashing lights going off, and I was like, what's that supposed to be a reference to? And there were different colours as well, so I wasn't really sure. But then I wondered, could that be like a very, very subtle clue from their song Never Miss a Beat? Because in the second verse, there's a line that goes, "Here comes the referee, the lights flashing." So I was curious as to whether that might be that. That's the only link that I can think of to the Kaiser Chiefs. He talks a lot about being independent. Obviously, you know, Ricky's done a lot of solo work since the Kaiser Chiefs split up. The War of the Worlds theme was playing at one point, and Ricky has actually performed in War of the Worlds on stage. Tread the boards. He said he didn't intend to tread the boards. Obviously, Ricky's not originally an actor of any sort. Also, what the hell was Davina going on about with diving boards? Like, sometimes the obvious clues are the ones to look at, Davina. They're not trying to be that cryptic. I feel like she's going mad. Now, this one really stumped me, so I had to turn again to my mate for this one. The Sticks of Rock. That was actually the cover of one of the Kaiser Chiefs albums, and this is the thing. I don't actually have any of the Kaiser Chiefs albums. I've only listened to like their big singles, like Every Day I Love You Less and Less, I Predict a Riot, Ruby, Never Miss a Beat, all that kind of thing. So yeah. And the last one was Art Imitates Life. Ricky now has an art show on CBBC. As for the voice, I had a little listen. Obviously, you know, he could be changing it up, like he's putting on a very, very strong American accent. So good on him for that. But I did hear a very faint little trace of that very obvious Kaiser Chiefs voice in there. So yeah, we'll go through that again in week 3. We'll just have to see where we go. Otter was up next. Now, Otter is the one that I am obsessing over, because so many things in week 1, for me at least, pointed to Toyah Willcox. But I'm actually starting to question whether the rubber duck splashing into the pool was actually meant to be a reference to Splash or not. Because Otter doesn't look short enough to be Toyah Willcox. Yeah, because Toyah is about like 5'1". Otter looks taller than that. So I'm really starting to question. And people are saying Kate Bush as well. Kate Bush ain't much taller than that. And Julie Walters as well. That was another one. Julie Walters, they're all around the same height bracket, so it doesn't fit. And then a lot of people... And then one of the judges guessed Catherine Tate. And I was like... And this is where it's getting confusing, because I've been able to tie a few of the clues into Catherine Tate, but the voice doesn't sound like her. So either she's really, really able to change her voice, or, you know, nobody's right, and it's somebody that we're just... And she's managed to completely stump us. Now, I've been able to tie in a few of the clues to both of them, so I'll be able to go through those. The only one that I wasn't was, and I don't know whether this ties in with them, but the clue or false clues were about the time warp or something to do with chocolate. Now, each of those could relate again to Toyah or Catherine. Toyah has done a Rocky Horror tribute, so that could tie in there. Whereas Catherine, the chocolate clue, Catherine Tate did a sketch on her show known as the Chocolate Fudge Cake sketch. So again, so many clues that tie into both of them. Again, the witch clue. Toyah was in a show called Anchoress, where she played a midwife back in the Middle Ages who was suspected of being a witch. So that could relate to the period drama. Or Catherine Tate was in the second Monster Family film where she played a witch called Baba Yaga. So I don't know whether that relates into there, but we'll have to see. The one that really stumped me was... she said, "You might remember me for something quite medical sounding." And there was a very big emphasis on member. So I'm not entirely sure why there was such an emphasis, but member, obviously I thought Toya Wilcox previously had a band, so I don't know whether that was a band member thing. But Toya was in Casualty. Catherine Tate had a Doctor sketch, and then when I suddenly stopped at Doctor, I thought, hang on a sec, Catherine Tate used to be Donna Noble, Doctor Who assistant. Duh, how the hell did I miss that? So either that's a Donna Noble reference, but then I can't believe how I managed to find this. Toya also has a Doctor Who connection because she's done Doctor Who documentaries. So it's screwing with my brain, people. It's absolutely screwing with my brain. The police clue, again, somehow I was able to tie that to both of them because Toya was in an old police drama with Trevor Reeve called Shoestring, and Catherine Tate had a sketch called The Enigmatic Cop. So I have absolutely no idea whether it relates to both of them. We'll just have to see. The only one that I wasn't able to link to both of them was the Is This a CV I See Before Me, where Catherine Tate, again, had another sketch where she was going in for a job interview and she just written out this whole false CV. I don't know whether that was as Lauren or something like that, but yeah. So there's so many clues that tie into both of them, and it's confusing me to no end. But yes, that is, so it's either one of those two. But this is the thing, clues are saying one person, voice is saying another. So it's just, I'm still all over the place. Now, next up we have knitting. I am still very firm in my belief that this is Claire Richards from Steps, because there are just so many Steps clues. Obviously there was that knitting and mourning thing written on the bun. Whoops, there goes my pen. There was that knitting and mourning thing written on the bunting, again relating to her craft stuff. She said she had to watch and copy to learn a certain skill, and it was one that she's very known for, but not one that she was necessarily very good at. That is dancing. Like Steps, when they started, were not trained dancers at all. So, you know, it was a lot of, pardon me, following choreography, obviously, that other people had done for them, especially for, like, the tragedy scene, and that was obviously very famous for a lot of the choreo that Claire did in that. The Broken Heart, I thought that was a tragedy reference, but it was a different Steps song. They actually have a song called Dancing with a Broken Heart, so that's where that relates in. The one that really stumped me at first was the Missing Four. So I had a little look at that. That could be a reference to Lee Latchford Evans, to Lee Latchford Evans being absent when they did their Jubilee Megamix performance earlier on in 2022. So that was a very, very subtle reference, so I'm not really sure whether anybody's going to get that. And then the lights going out, what could be more obvious than their hit Scared of the Dark? Obviously, you know, she's going, turn the lights back on, I'd rather not be in the dark. Duh! Come on, judges, there's so many. This is literally the same as when Michelle Williams was on the show last year, and there was so many Destiny's Child clues that they missed, including the electricity going out, referencing the Super Bowl, clothes being written on the side of the bag. What do you get when you buy clothes? Bills. It's just, and then all the Williams as well. I would have thought that would have sold it completely. That is just, sometimes the most obvious clues just slip right by them. And I'm actually really worried about the judges this year because I remember in Series 3 of the Australian one, the judges had such an off year that year, and I'm starting to think that this might be that year for the UK judges. I don't know. I mean, in the first series it did take 4 episodes for them to get one right, but, you know, we just don't know at this stage. We just don't know, and I very much doubt that they're going to get rubbish right, because they've missed the very obvious snooker clue in his clue package. So yeah, we're just going to have to see where we go from here. And honestly, I'm more excited for episode 4, because I really like Group B, and there's more characters in there that I want to see unmasked purely for the sake of seeing who is under the mask in that group, especially Rubbish and Pigeon. Like, I just want to know who they are so badly. But yeah, that is all we have for this week. I am very, very excited to see what Group B has in store for it. Because I tell you what, we had some real surprises with the song choices this week, especially Ossa. Like, I was not expecting her to sing such a dramatic ballad this week. So yeah, we are literally just going to have to see where we go. And yeah, I really hope Rubbish doesn't go home next week because I love him. He's such a wacky character. But yeah, have a nice night, everybody. And remember, so I don't know what I was supposed to say there. I think I'd still got MatPat stuck in my head. But yeah, have a nice night, everybody. And I will see you all next week for the next unmasking.